It's today, guys. Today, Avengers Infinity War finally comes out. Now, I was thinking about what kind of a video I wanted to do, and I decided I didn't really want to deep dive online for theories or speculation. This is because, like most of you, I'm incredibly worried about spoilers. A lot of people have seen the movie at this point, so deep diving is a big no for me. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the one safe thing I think we can talk about. That is the fact that I believe Avengers 4 is likely to still be a part 2 to Infinity War. If this seems like too much, check out now, maybe come back later and watch the video. But if you're like me and you think that Avengers 4 is going to be part 2 to Infinity War, check this video out, get hyped for the film, and let's speculate about what Avengers 4 could be. This is spoilers free. Let's go. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Quickly, before we get into this, I want to shout out Jonathan Wetzel, who got the nerd card question correct in my latest Venom movie video. And he didn't just get it right, he got it right to like a crazy degree of detail. So shout out to you, Jonathan. We'll do another nerd card question at the end of this video. Okay, guys, so back in 2014, Marvel announced its film slate all the way up to 2019. This was an incredibly ambitious move. Now, at the time, the Inhumans were going to be a movie, and Avengers 3 and 4 were going to be part 1 and 2 of Infinity War. Now, we all know what ended up actually happening was that the Inhumans became a dumpster fire, Marvel's Avengers 3 became Infinity War, and Avengers 4 became Untitled. Those films were also meant to be shot back to back, which of course changed as well. So why all the changes? What happened with the titling? What was the strategy here? Well, I think one of the unspoken factors with that slate and the changes that Marvel has made is the fact that they are learning how to do this whole thing better. As an example, I was just listening to a few interviews with Kevin Feige talking about how they shot the entirety of Avengers Infinity War in IMAX. Now, important to the point I'm trying to make is the fact that Feige said when shooting Civil War, they shot the airport sequence on IMAX cameras, and this was a big experiment for Marvel. They wanted to know if they could utilize the full potential of these large cameras, and they wanted to see what they could do with that many characters interacting on screen at one time. Now, thankfully, that experiment went well because the airport scene in Civil War is amazing. But beyond even that, now we're going to get likely even more incredible sequences in Infinity War shot entirely on IMAX. It's an understated quality of the MCU that they are able to learn from their mistakes and take chances on things which inform future decisions. So frankly, I think they realized that shooting those movies back to back was a logistical nightmare. I'm pretty sure it's already a logistical nightmare just to get all of those actors in the same film together. They decided to chop it up, do part 1, and then do part 2 6 months down the line, keeping all of the sets intact, keeping everything they needed intact. So that explains why they did not shoot those films all at one time, but it doesn't really explain why they changed Avengers 4 to not be Infinity War Part 2 any longer. Well, I think once again, this just has to do with them learning. I mean, one of the things Marvel has done very well at is understanding and gauging how audiences are responding to the moves that they make. Remember, too, that the Russo brothers were brought on to do Infinity War after that slate was announced. So it's possible that they were talking with Kevin Feige and different people higher up at Marvel Studios and decided that to leave on a cliffhanger was great, but some of the oomph that would create would be taken away if people knew that it was a part 1 and a part 2. I mean, look at some of the behavior that Marvel is doing as a company right now. They moved the press release right up next to the film. The embargoes were lifted super late in the game, and they even changed the release date in the United States to coincide with an international release. all of this is done in the spirit of preventing spoilers from getting out there. I think the biggest spoiler out there is the fact that Avengers 4 is still going to be a part 2, and the fact that Infinity War is going to end on a devastating cliffhanger. Now, what's really crazy about this is that it worked. Basically, by them removing the part 2 from Avengers 4, you had a bunch of different people online, different junkets, different news outlets, all speculating about what Avengers 4 could be about. A lot of people think it could be Secret Wars, Secret Invasion, Avengers Disassembled, all sorts of other storylines which do not focus on the ThanoQuest story. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, you had major nerding news outlets like Collider Heroes and Nerdist News speculating about what could happen after the Avengers beat Thanos in Infinity War. Now, those same people, after having seen the film, are singing a different tune, mostly saying online, wow, it is going to be a long year to wait until Avengers 4. So despite all of the signs out there online, you had people speculating that Avengers 4 could be something completely different. Now let's talk about those signs, because like I said, even though this is sort of a big spoiler, I think it was obvious and written on the wall from the very beginning. So the first big sign is the fact that this is 10 years of buildup. Do you really think that they are going to make this 6-part MacGuffin and have an 18-film run leading up to a big conclusion and then finish it off in just one movie? I mean, even if the movie was 4 hours, the math there just doesn't add up. It's not big enough. It is not the payoff that we are looking for. Besides that, Brolin was talking about returning to play Thanos in Avengers 4. This was when they all went back to set after he got done filming Cable, so that was already out there online. We also know that there is going to be no in-universe movies taking place between Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. Both the next 2 movies that will take place in between these films are actually taking place within the timeline of the universe before Infinity War. Captain Marvel is going to take place in the 90s, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is taking place directly after Civil War. So there's nothing happening in between Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. That's pretty curious. Also, very recently, Marvel announced it is not doing Hall H at Comic-Con this year. Hall H is the classic place where they go on, put on a big presentation, and talk about what is happening next in Marvel. And they're not going this year at all. And the reason is to, quote, let the dust settle from Infinity War. Now, the last piece of signs is a relatively new development in this whole thing, but that would be the weird reviews that are coming out online. A lot of people talking about how they can't properly review the film, that the film would actually get an incomplete because it is so part 1 to a part 1 and 2 story. Now, there is the possibility that I am wrong here. I mean, there's an outside chance that the film does get wrapped up in a way, and you could think of the next Avengers film as a companion film to this one, but I would literally put that at about a 1% chance. Now, my theory, and I just want to remind everybody here, I have not seen the film. This is pure speculation, but my theory is that Thanos will assemble the full gauntlet in Infinity War and then fly off somewhere to reshape reality the way he sees fit. What will happen with the Avengers in Avengers 4 is that they will formulate a coalition with all sorts of different cosmic entities and groups of aliens in the galaxy, and you will see this massive armada go out to fight Thanos wherever he is with the full gauntlet. Now, how the heroes will actually be able to defeat Thanos with a full gauntlet is beyond me, but that is the story I think we are going to get in Avengers 4. So those are just some of my thoughts. I want to know what you think, though. Let me know in the comment section. Are you pretty sure this is a part 1 and 2 still, or do you think we are going to get some kind of a conclusion at the end of Infinity War? All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, what is the name of Thor's new hammer, which he will receive in Infinity War? Answer that question in the comment section below. You can click below to watch some more dope videos, and you can click our icon to subscribe to get all of our future content. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.